Welcome to the Weekly Pistol Podcast. At the end of this hour, we want you better than when we started.
All right, what's good? What's good? We're back. Had a little hiatus for the holidays. Send a shout out to our followers, all our followers out there. Hope you had a good Thanksgiving. And as you can tell by mine and Mark's hats, it's the holidays.
And Veronica's T-shirt.
Yes.
Yeah, she's the one that started this whole thing, and this is what she shows up with.
Christmas.
What does it say? All I want for Christmas is a Cardinal win.
I can explain. Yes, that too.
Did they win today?
No.
Did
Did you watch the game or did you quit on them?
I watched till halftime, then I had to get ready to come here.
Yeah, blame us. Blame us for that. All right.
Hey, Manny Claus. Here's to you, brother.
Yeah.
Manny Claus.
Yeah, we're on it. We're on it.
Nice.
All right. So for our followers following us again, I appreciate our subscribers. If you're new here, make sure you hit the bell, subscribe, follow up whatever we're going to be doing for the next week. For those of you that are new, I'm Manny.
I'm Mark.
I'm Veronica.
And this is the Pistol Podcast. We're going to talk about some PTSD issues. And last year about this time, we did a PTSD podcast. It was called Holidays with PTSD. And we're not going to do the same kind of podcast, but I really wanted to talk to you guys about everything that comes along with the holidays. There's I'm sure there's people out there who just absolutely live for this month. That's me.
That's me too.
I love the holidays. Always have.
Mm-hmm.
I do too.
Yep.
And even, I'm sure my parents didn't like it and trying to save up the money for the whole year to get us Christmas gifts and all the crowds and stuff.
Yeah.
So
How many kids are in your family?
three boys. I was the
boys?
oldest, yeah.
Oh, your poor mom.
What about you?
Veronica,
What do you have?
how many kids in your family?
I grew up an only child because my siblings are so much older than me, but I'm the
spoiled.
first. I'm the youngest of four.
Oh.
Boys, girls?
One sister, two brothers, then me.
Right on. Mark? You have sisters?
I'm the baby, and I got a older
Spoiled.
brother.
That's you too, then.
True. I got 3 older sisters and a brother.
Right on.
Yep.
3 older sisters. Oh, that's my son.
So do you guys have any bad holiday memories? Like anything like, was it always good for you guys?
As far as I can remember, like childhood
Yeah.
and stuff. Oh yeah,
No
Yeah.
issues?
No, it's good for us too.
yeah.
Even though my dad was in construction, and back in the Midwest, construction slows
and
down.
the
So
winter.
we had some lean times when we were real young, but
Yeah.
in the later
So
days,
everything-
it was great.
You're growing up, your holidays were just pretty much
Yeah.
all making lists and shit.
Yep.
Then Christmas Day going out and seeing who got what.
We got the Sears catalog out.
Right?
And we
Remember
circled.
that?
We circled. This is what I really want.
Yes,
Oh.
I did that too.
And I mean, you'd put so many circles around that thing, and a star, and a number 1, and all this stuff.
I didn't have any of that.
I did.
Yeah.
I think the
remember that
only
too.
catalog my mom got was Spiegel. Do you remember that?
Spiegel.
Yeah.
Spiegel, yeah.
But we didn't like, there wasn't no damn
Never-
free for all. Like I couldn't just circle shit.
Yeah.
There was like a 1 to 3 column, 3 being the one you were going to get and 1 you never got,
Wow.
but it was wishful thinking to write it down.
That's pretty much what we had.
Yeah.
Sears
So
Christmas catalog came out, and we're like,
Yes.
give me that cigarette. We all fighting over it. Who gets to
it
do
was
what
always
first.
the newest shit.
Yeah.
Like I had Stretch Armstrong. Like I wanted
Yeah.
that motherfucker bad, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
Skateboards had me
Yeah.
some, my first skateboard was a Kamikaze. Then I got into the good shit, man, like Tony Hawk and Rodney Mullen,
Wow.
as you grow up. So let's fast forward a little bit to
My first skateboard, at first, it was wooden, and
Yeah.
it had a handle on it, and this guy named Marty broke the top of it off, and he skated around.
he's like, let me show you how to skate here, kid.
Yeah.
So
Marty McFly from Back to the Future.
let's go forward now to adultish, right? So Veronica, I'll go to you. Your first child. During that time, you weren't a police officer, right?
Right.
So what was Christmas like for you as a first time mom? Happy?
Yes. I mean, I was broke. My husband was in the military, so I was a stay-at-home mom. So I was broke as a joke and by myself in California with my baby. But it was still good. I mean, we did all the right things. The cookies, the decorating. I mean, the ornaments are like up here because you have a 1-year-old who's getting into everything. But yeah, I mean,
What about like shopping? The anxiety of shopping. And
oh, never. Like, I lived to shop my whole life. Like, that's just something. It's my dad loves it. So we do it all the time. So I have always lived to shop. I mean, up to PTSD, right?
Right. Mark, as an adult.
Well, my first job out of the gate, away from the family construction stuff, was the military too, and I was a airman first class, and got married. And my first Christmas away from home was I was stationed up in Vegas at Nellis Air Force Base, and I remember me and my wife. I mean, so money. Talk about money being the issue. We were so tight, like we had change rolled into paper things.
Right.
Listen, man, we had $4 in rolls of pennies.
Yes,
Yeah.
right? I
And
remember, like,
yeah.
the same thing. My budget, like, I'd be like, I have $24 to go to the grocery store
Yeah.
today. Like,
And
it
I
was
said, listen, I told my wife,
sad.
I told my wife, I said, listen, you take these $4, you go to the store, you know, I'll drive you to the store, you buy whatever you want. I'm not even going to give you any input, because guess what? Those are your $4 worth of groceries.
Yep.
And we got to make it for 7 days.
7
Right on.
days, right?
7 days till payday. And I'll go to the chow hall and I'll get as much food and stuff it in my field jacket as I
Yeah.
can and come out of there with apples and anything else I can.
Did you guys shop at the commissary?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody does. You're in the
Yeah.
military. That's where you
Yeah.
go.
Yeah.
And that's what we did. And she blew it, man.
But you guys.
She went in and bought candy bars. I was like, you
Hey.
moron, you buy potatoes or rice
Wow.
with $4.
Fill yourself up.
Something that's going to make it. So
Overall,
but anyway, even with that, that was like the leanest time I ever had.
overall, you guys had
Still, it was fun.
fun, right?
Yeah.
Laughed and
Yeah.
shit. Look
Yeah.
forward to the holidays. All
Yeah.
your family members getting together.
Yeah.
So, my first Christmas, as I guess, as an adult, I was married. My son was a few months old tops, and unlike you guys, I didn't have coins. I had food stamps. Before, and as an adult, you know, I got a new wife, I got a new baby. Your parents don't make the most money, and it wasn't like the food stamps you had now, where you get like an EBT card and no
Right.
one knows that you're using food stamps.
Right.
It was legit
You-
paper.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
cut them out like coupons, man, and that
It's like a
that
humiliation factor.
yeah,
Yes.
I know.
that lady, man, she would take
Yeah.
it out, and then to prevent it from getting sold again, she'd take out this big stamp, man, and she'd be like, bang, 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 bang,
Yeah.
bang, right? And the people behind me are like, what the fuck are they doing over there? Like, sorry, it's just food stamps, you know. And but looking back on that, although I was embarrassed, I was still happy. You know what I mean? I was still happy. I had to
Yeah.
do what I had to do for the time being.
Yeah.
You move past it,
Right.
and but I don't remember being depressed about it.
Right.
Right? Like, I don't remember like, oh, I'm on food stamps, you know. I just figured it was a stage I had to get through.
Yeah.
You feel me? Like, I just
yeah.
had to get through it.
Yeah. I had
And
all
then-
the optimism.
Right.
In
I
the
still
world.
had that. I
Yeah,
had optimism,
I did
man.
too.
Like, it was going to get better.
Yeah.
And,
And I wasn't in despair about it. I was like,
No.
I'm getting paid in 7 days. And at the end of that 7 days, I'll never be stuck with $4 in rolls
Yeah.
of pennies again.
Yes.
I'm moving up.
Yeah.
Dang it.
That's when you start looking at goals, man. You're like, I got to get to that next job.
That's when the end of the month, that extra day at the end of the month, really hurts.
Yeah.
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 Well, you would always get, you know, I'd get,
31 stupid days.
Days.
Yeah.
What's the reason?
who needs that extra day?
we need more Februarys in the year.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, do you remember? I don't know if you guys ever had it, but on food stamps, you get cheeses and stuff, but they give you this government cheese.
Mhm.
That shit never melted. It was just waxy.
Yeah.
Like, you heat it up and it just got waxy.
Yeah.
And I was like, what is this? Like, I want to make nachos. It just got waxy. It didn't melt. Just waxy.
Bite into it.
Yeah. I was like, man, this is nasty. But this is what I'm talking about. Like, all that stuff, people would think bad. Like, oh, poor them. But I was happy.
Mhm.
Right? I had my family. We had parties. The holidays from, like, I started the holidays right around, like, September 30th.
Wow.
Right? Like, I was like, let's Halloween.
Yeah.
You got a whole month of Halloween, decorate, right? Then I had Day of the Dead, so that took on the next couple of weeks, right? Then I got Thanksgiving coming,
Nice.
and then December 1, man, it was on,
Yeah.
right? And that whole month, man, it was like, doom, doom, doom. That was the greatest month of the year for me.
Mm-hmm.
And so with that being said, I became a police officer, right? I got in law enforcement in 95, and I was still that person, right? Like, I still was like, okay, it's holidays. But then I quickly learned that I didn't have a choice whether or not I was going to be working on that holiday or not. Like that was my scheduled day on. I was on, right. And I still it was exciting and new because I had never done it before, and I figured, shit, man, my brother's next to me, he's working, so I'm gonna be working with the dude, you know. So I still didn't have any kind of like sadness or, you know, I just learned to cope with my hours that I had
when you're available.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, I learned to cope with that. You know, if Thanksgiving, if I had to work, you know, swing shift, I just ate Thanksgiving starting at like 8 a.m, you know, and then left for work. Did you guys experience the same thing when you got on?
Yep.
Right. So I hit the jails first. Mark, you did.
Yeah.
Right. So did you feel that same way?
Yeah. I mean, I knew that every holiday I'm there. There was no question about that.
Right.
So it wasn't a big deal to me, honestly, because again, you had everybody in there, even the inmates in there. They had like, even though they were sullen and everything, they were kind of, you know, somber about being away from their homes and stuff like that. They still, like, you could see them treating each other a little different.
Yeah,
like
they would make me shit, man.
Everybody's
Crazy.
like happy. At
Yeah,
Christmas.
you can't go
Crazy.
wrong.
Yeah.
Right. I remember these dudes. They'd make me these little soap carvings, man. And I was like, dude, that's cool, man. You made me a soap carving. Never once did I think, where the fuck did he get the knife to carve that shit? Like, I was
you
like,
should have been thinking of, why is he asking you to pick it up?
no, I didn't work in your fucking pod there. But I remember I was like, man, this is cool, man. Like, they gave me a gift, you know? And, but I still, again, is happy, man. You know, I had a new job, a new career, you know, money in my pocket, no more food stamps, man. I had my own apartment by that time. Everything was golden,
Right.
you know. And so, Mark, I'll start with you and I because we started. We came up and made our bones in the same spot. But looking back, and I gave this a lot of thought over the last week when we were thinking about the holidays and doing this podcast. I remember, and I had to ask my wife about this, but I remember one year, and I probably had about 2.5 years on in the jail at the time. We were at the mall, and you know how the mall is, man. You know, sample this, you know, buy this, right? Well, one day my wife said, "You remember we were talking about this podcast?" She goes, "Bring it up. Do you remember when we were walking through the mall and you were just telling people no, and pushing them back like just rude? No,
You were the Grinch.
no. You know what? Well, I wasn't the Grinch.
It was defense.
It was defense, and it was all day at the jails, man. Hey, Dio, can I get a bar of soap? Hey, Dio,
hey,
can I
man.
get some toilet paper?
Hey, man, can I help you serve chow?
Hey, can I serve chow? Hey, and you're just like, no.
Yeah.
And I didn't even realize
That's funny.
that I had gone, I had crossed over to my life now, right? So that's about the time, and I'm not saying I had PTSD then, because I didn't. It was still new. But my mind was already getting to that place where too many people coming at me was not a good thing.
Yeah, you're changing from who you started.
Did you recognize that in yourself at all?
Not until you just said it.
No, Jesus.
I was like, holy moly. I said, because as you're saying that, and I remember all these inmates coming to me, and I should take this hat off. Because in the jail, I was known as a Santa Claus.
Oh yeah,
I mean,
I gave him everything. You gave him everything, man.
Bar of soap, New set of stripes, heck yeah.
I'm glad I didn't fucking work with you, man. I had to come clean that shit up.
Yeah. So a lot of people were like, you know, a lot of the old guard were like, "Who's this new dude, man? He's giving them everything they're asking for."
Yeah.
I was like, "Dude, it's not my stuff. What do I give a damn?"
Because them motherfuckers will hoard it, and then I got to go clean that shit up on the cell search.
You're gonna hoard a little tiny cake of soap.
Hey, man.
So small the hotels throw them away.
Yeah.
Come on.
They'll hoard that shit,
I know
make
they
hooch.
do.
You know what I mean?
I know they do, and then they hoard the plastic cups.
Yeah, man.
Anything they can hold on to, they'll grab a
You
hold of.
fucked my whole world
But
up
anyway,
on swing shift, you
but
Santa
anyway.
Claus motherfucker.
I was swing shift.
Oh, shit. Huh.
Yeah, I was swing shift at Madison.
Oh, you didn't want to be bothered then.
No. But anyway, so, yeah, you're right, though, man. I mean, when they came on, everybody, as soon as you got up in the tower, they're like, they're down in the pod, waving.
You know what
at
it's
trying
like?
to get you.
So,
I want to help
see
you
it from
serve
my
food.
perspective. I used to have to go to the jail as a detective, and it was the worst walking down those halls.
Yeah,
with
'cause they
everybody
run a
in
window.
the windows, like
They'd be like,
bam.
hey,
yeah, it was terrible.
Hey, low bond. I got a low bond.
Low bond. Not guilty. Not guilty. Hey, let me get your number.
Tattoo says not guilty
Yes.
right on my
They be
neck.
holding up. Put money on my books.
Yeah.
Yeah,
crazy.
so they wanted you for soap and shit, but they wanted the girls for something different.
Yeah,
it was gross.
Maybe I
It
got a
was
shot
gross.
even though I'm incarcerated right
Right,
now.
like
They do.
yeah.
Yeah.
She got a job and a
No.
pension. But you know what it's like, Veronica, when
Give
you're
me
working in
give
when
me
you're
an
working.
extra tray of food.
Yeah. You know what it's like to put it in comparison for us and you is when all your kids were old enough and they were just like, Mom,
No.
Mom,
yeah,
Mom.
no, they do that all the time
Mom.
still.
Yeah.
Mom. She touched me.
But you got 120 guys.
Yeah.
All at the same time, and you got to get through that damn walk, and you only got so many
Ew.
minutes because you got to make it every 20 minutes. Every 20 minutes you
And
got
it
to
was
roll
always
that walk
something,
out.
man.
Like, gosh, dang, man, I don't have time for you. I don't have time for you.
Right.
No.
That's
I
a
don't-
no.
Nope.
Nope.
Hey, you didn't even hear what I said.
Yep.
Nope.
Nope.
Yeah.
And that's what I was like. That's how my
Yeah.
life became at that point.
Yeah, and
That's
if you
the-
didn't make that walk every 20 minutes, then you got a Jeffrey Epstein dead on you, dead in the cell,
Yeah.
15 feet away from you. 'cause
Then you're
you didn't
speaking
make
of
your
jail
walk.
crimes and shit.
Yeah, I know, man.
So that's when I first, looking back, that's when it first started. And I'm sure that if you're watching the podcast and you started where we started, whether it was corrections or in the county, or you were a mom and you had to just fucking tell the kids no or shut up, no, you can't have it, But that's when looking back, was when everything was starting to turn, right? I was going to turn that corner into becoming, I don't want to say turn my soul over to that because it's not a bad thing, but that's when I started recognizing, not then, I didn't recognize, now looking back, just not dealing with people well.
Yeah.
Right. And then when you're on the holidays, man, it's people everywhere.
Yeah.
It's like walking into a dorm of fucking 300 people.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
And so that's kind of where I started to go. So I left there after a few years, and then I went and I hit the streets, which gave me a whole new perspective of the holidays. Because what didn't I know before I hit the streets that I now know on the streets? Violence takes place on fucking Christmas Day.
Yes,
Oh, man.
DVs
Right?
all day.
My first Christmas, man. My very first Christmas, having to work it, and I'm thinking I'm working day shifts. There's nothing gonna happen. This chick blows her brains out.
Yeah.
And
Suicides
here's
and
her
DVs,
kids.
yep.
Here's her kids outside of the apartment door, banging on the door with her mom, with her husband, with her sisters and brothers, and I'm like, oh my gosh, that was a rough call. man.
I remember one of the last shootings we went on, man. Thanksgiving Day, man, they bring us platter, right? Everybody brings platter of food. The sergeant's like, hey, enjoy. If the radio doesn't chirp, man, just sit here and enjoy the turkey. And that's what we did, man. And we just served a big plate of food, man. We were like, shit going on today. And not even 2 scoops into it, man. Hot Tone comes out and fucking somebody shot in an alley.
Yep.
Right? We're hauling ass. The whole squad's down there. Sure shit. Shot in the fucking alley. They left that dude for dead.
Yeah.
So my perspective at that point is now changing. I don't recognize it, but it's starting to take a hold of, it's making me salty, right? Cynical. And I don't actively remember thinking this then, but looking back, you're thinking to yourself, what the fuck is going on, man? Like, I grew up a totally different way than you did, right? I mean, I didn't have the best life. I wasn't dirt poor, but I wasn't rich either. And I wasn't shooting motherfuckers in the alley. When I grew up in my neighborhood, it was a bad neighborhood. I grew up on the far west side of Phoenix, a lot of gangs. But even in the holidays, I don't remember gangs shooting up the holidays. Right. They shot up the rest of the year, and I knew where not to go. But when I got to the street, man, that took it to another level. Because now I was starting to see the reality of society, right? And I remember thinking early on, I remember going out around Thanksgiving and Christmas time, like Christmas Day, like day shift on Thanksgiving and day shift on Christmas was just completely stone cold silent, right? I'd log in, 3 o'clock, silence. Man, 7 o'clock, all the alcohol, and all the people they didn't see the whole year that they didn't like, that they're just putting up with. It just became a fucking 3-ring shit show of fights and shootings. And over time, you just prepare for that. And then I would go, I'd go to my house, to my family's house, which was completely different than the houses I just left. Right. And it was weird, because I thought I was leaving and going to fucking hell, You know, I'm going to hell and heaven's right across the street. And I chose this profession, you know, and I think making sense of that early on in my career, I found it exciting, right? Just like I did the jail until one day I didn't realize it. And I'm telling people, no, right? And then I could start to see a couple of years in on the streets during the holidays, you know, I didn't want to go to those fucking stores.
I wonder if it's different for guys than girls then, because I feel like even though going to all these problems and DVs and all these things that are happening, like for me, it's almost just continued parenting. So it was not that like I was parenting bad
That's
children.
some bad kids, man. That's what I was thinking. Shit, you're raising felons.
No, but I think it's
My
just
kid
the
beat
same.
up your honor roll kid. That's your bumper sticker.
No, I don't mean that. I just mean like I think as moms maybe, you know, we're constantly just parenting regardless. Like I parented all my kids' friends and things like that I feel like going to calls for service sometimes was just another parenting moment. So for me it wasn't so.
I would have to say I have never had that mentality.
So,
And didn't you ever
So,
get tired of being
maybe
a fucking
it's-
parent?
no,
Maybe
I've
it
been a
is
parent
different
since
because-
I've been an adult.
Yeah,
so
and
for
see,
me
I don't
parenting
have
is like
kids.
all
That's
it's like
the
all I
difference.
do. Like
Yeah.
I parent everybody all the time. So, you know, like it's not abnormal for me to just sit and work through someone's problems or tell them how to fix something. And so going to a call or, you know, even on Christmas or whatever, like it was just a job, but it was still like, it wasn't anything that, I don't know, that seemed like the way that you're describing, like going from there to your home, right? Like just so out of the box. Like for me, it was, I worked either graves or days. And when I wasn't a detective,
So you missed everything.
yeah.
You were on your job, man. You worked graveyard. Shit was already over by the time you guys
No.
came on.
What are you talking about?
No, well, I'm just saying in Gilbert,
Oh, okay.
right?
Not in
Yeah.
Glendale.
Yeah.
Glendale's rough on
So yeah, so
graveyards.
I mean, for like holidays and stuff, it was DUIs. That's really, I mean, parties, loud noise, loud music, things like that. But the occasional bar fights, we had a couple of big bars that always cause problems on the weekend. But and like day shift, there really didn't, unless it was an accident or people started drinking super early. We really didn't have too many issues by the time our swing shift team came on to take over the calls.
Yeah,
service.
see, bar fights didn't bother me. Loud music calls didn't bother me because I was in my house on my off time with my family. I was probably getting the cops called because of a loud party. And I didn't like breaking up loud parties if it wasn't within reason, you know?
Yeah.
But that's not at all what I had on swing shift.
Well,
You
yeah,
know,
no.
on swing shift, it was, I mean, it would be nice to get somebody just arguing loud because then I can help them. And I did go in with the sense of help initially. Like I did go in there and say, I'm glad you called me because I'm going to fix your problem. And it made me very happy.
But so here's what I'm saying though, like, so when you leave, right, and you go home and you have a wife or a mom or whatever, like, are they the ones who regulate shit within the household?
Yeah, they took it off my plate.
Right. So see, and so for me, I was the regulator at home. So going out on the street and being the regulator there wasn't anything.
But you didn't get a break. That's what I'm saying. Like, isn't that a bad thing?
I didn't notice any difference because it was just it was just in my personality to always be that person.
But you're fucked up.
I think I'm pretty good.
Yeah.
I think my evolution, if what you talking about with your wife pointing out to you, hey, you're at the mall and you're like pushing people away like the Heisman Trophy going, get away, back. I noticed when, because believe it or not, when I came out right after I got off FTO, I got a day shift slot with crappy days off, which means I worked Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday.
Not that day shift was any different than the other day shift.
No,
But
exactly.
there is an advantage to not working those days because you get normal life shit done.
Yeah,
Appointments and
yeah,
things.
that's what I told myself. Yeah, look at all these businesses with nobody around. I'm winning.
You were. You just didn't know
it. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday off. Yeah, sucker. Anyway, so what I noticed was I noticed anxiety building in me as the holidays neared. And you know when it started? Football season.
Really?
Yeah, because I was working that day. I
So
was
you had
working
dealt with all the
Saturday
fights
and
stuff.
Sunday, and that early game, I was like, oh my gosh.
Oh, here we go.
Oh man, here it comes. Here it comes. And yeah, so I would know right at about noon, everybody was drunk enough. The game was 2 hours in, and the fights are breaking loose.
Yeah.
And sure enough, man, here comes the gunfights. Here comes the people throwing through windows. Here's the terrible DUIs, people leaving a party. And I always thought, you know what? I said, the worst thing for these people to do is communicate.
Yeah.
Communication is not the answer in these families.
Right.
And I started noticing, like, when I would go to my own family functions, like, my anxiety level was through the roof because everybody in my family drinks. And I'm like, oh, my gosh, stuff's going to break loose. Stuff's going to break loose. And I've been on this call too many times. And I noticed that. I said, man, I'm almost having an anxiety attack at my own family function.
So leading up to the party, were you getting that feeling?
No, I loved it.
No. I'm saying when you realized that, was it the days leading up to the party that you were starting to mentally prepare and get anxious, or was the day of?
No, it was the day up because I wasn't really recognizing it, but I would fall into this and I would see all these familiar things that, man, I've been into a house call like this. Yeah. And everybody's yelling, and now they're talking about a hot topic or something and everybody's getting angry, and when I started seeing that, I was just like, man, who am I gonna take out of here first? Yeah. Not take out, but I mean, who I gotta deal with first? Because who's the hottest person here? Who's the biggest problem?
Maybe it was different in my house because there were so many police officers that everybody kind of behaved.
Totally different. I was the only cop in my family.
I was the only cop in my family too.
So it was like,
and so all the nieces
and they
and
never
nephews were
understood.
raised by cops, so they're all a little their bad behavior is really not bad because
and see, my family never understood that when you yell to such a degree that the neighbors call the police because it's disturbing their peace. Yeah. And I was trying to tell them, you understand you're disturbing the peace right now. you understand we could go to jail for this right now because this is domestic violence. Even though we're just yelling, we're just talking. Right. I said, it's too much. It's too much.
Calm down.
And so I was in there trying to quell our normal, and we're a loud family anyway. I'm just going to say that. But so I started spinning up when the football season kicked off. And then I would be going to family functions and stuff like that. That's really the first time I ever noticed that I'm like, there's something that's revolved in me, and I'm like on another cylinder right now. I don't know why. So
Veronica, you didn't notice any change whatsoever?
Mm-mm.
No?
No.
So you went into a party full of cops. And then I started, as this week was coming by, I was thinking about this topic. Then I started looking back and I started thinking, I would have much rather been at work than at home off on the holiday and storming the malls, right? Because I had no control there. I wasn't in uniform. I wasn't on duty. Right. I couldn't tell these motherfuckers to get out the way, leave. I was just part of the fucking herd that was getting pushed through the mall, and trying to, as I was thinking about it, looking back, I was like, yeah, I'm safer at work. Because at work, I'm in control. They call me when there's a problem. We come fix it, whatever. And I didn't mind it anymore. Then it became better to be at work than at home. Wow. Because then you start realizing as you get into specialty units, because specialty units, you always get the holidays off. Right. Very rarely
You're non-essential.
Yeah. So they just send you, they're like, hey, just take a day. Fuck it. But in patrol, you were there. You minimum staffing, and everybody was fucking. It was a skeleton crew, and you were balls of the wall on swing shift. Yep. And I started getting addicted to that adrenaline, right? Because I would, if it did fall off on my day off, and I was at the house, I was bored. My family's loud like yours, Mark. They drink a lot, but I'm like, these people are getting on my fucking nerves, man. I can't even break up the party, you know?
Were you ever afraid that, hey, cops are going to get called because I know what you're doing right now is illegal because you're fighting. And that's disorderly conduct.
Well, yeah, there wasn't a whole lot of verbal.
I'm just like, so what I started doing was I started getting less and less contact doing it in my own family. Right. And I'd be the first one, I'd be the last one there, the first one out, and I would never have a party with more than just like maybe 2 or 3 of my brothers and sisters.
So you found yourself getting to the party early just to leave early?
No, getting there late
and leaving early.
And being first one out. Yeah. First one out. Or not even showing.
Right. Make an excuse and just get out.
Yeah.
Like, I got something going on.
like in my home, you know, my dad is one of like 14 or whatever, but he was the only cop of all his siblings. And so he's probably in the middle range of age for everybody. And so everybody went to him. So we've got there's a variety of types of people in my dad's family, but so everybody kind of went to him. And so then in my family, my brother was a cop. Both my brothers were in the military. My nephew's a cop. My brother-in-law is a cop. Like it just kind of lingered. We have corrections, dispatchers, everything within my immediate family. And so we never had, like, I don't even know, like in my house, if we were even to like, there's just never been a fight. I remember one fight when I was a child, and it was between my brother-in-law and my brother, both cops. And like, I mean, it was like drag out fight in the backyard, led to the street, and
Nice.
they like were rolling around. And I think my dad grabbed them both before they got hit by a car as they were rolling. And that was the only time there was ever strife.
That's a wicked family.
Yeah,
That's a real one.
and that was
That's
the
real.
but we were. I mean, I was little, so they were very young themselves, and
What was a fight over? Do you know?
no clue.
No?
They're just drunk and stupid, probably. But aside from that, I've never seen any kind of. There's just never been any kind of haste between anybody in my family. So everybody gets along. Everybody's happy to see each other. Like everyone's very respectful and what. So we never have like going to my mom's home is like a very peaceful, happy event for us, I guess. So I've never had that where I've had to, you know, like you're talk about people arguing and those things. Like I don't know if we were all scared of my dad. I think that's part of it. Like we were all like, my dad was the man, so we were like never gonna do anything to be disrespectful in front of him because he would have dropped the hammer. I can't anymore, but he would have at some point, I'm sure. So I can't even.
Yeah, we didn't have. I mean, I had family members that were gang members, smoked bud, but they respected me and went outside, smoked it somewhere else. You know, they'd come in flying their colors. They didn't mean nothing to me. I was off duty, so, but not to the point where you were talking about. Like, I never thought, man, the cops are going to come and fucking.
Well, I'm just saying from arguing, not like we're
arguing happened
not like
a lot.
we were killing each other.
Yeah, arguing happened
And
a lot.
I've even had like
Very few fist fights.
I've even had recently. So, like I said, my dad's got a huge family, and some of them have been known to do things. I mean, I've got many cousins who've been incarcerated for drugs and things in the past, and probably current too. But anyways, I recently met a cousin, he's younger than me, but at a family party, and he was like, he's like, hey, who are you? And so I told him, and he was like, oh, I totally know you. Like, my dad used to tell us when we were kids, my cousin's a detective. She will come down and get you. But and they were
dirty.
yeah, and I'm like, I don't even know who you. I know my cousin, but I don't know all of his kids and whatnot. But like, I found it hilarious because they were the cousins who were always in trouble. Like if you hear about things happening in Chandler, it's probably them, and things like that. And I always worried when I was a cop because we were sister cities that like, oh my God, I'm gonna one day I'm gonna have to like do something to a family member because I'm so close to them up here. And those were the people. But that was the kind of talk they had, even though they had that background of drugs and violence and whatever. They knew my dad was the cop, I was the cop, and they were very respectful to us.
Oh, nice.
So now let's go to PTSD time. Right. Just dealing with the anger and the anxiety of your first Christmas, your first holidays with PTSD. Do you remember what that was like? So with me, the reason I remember it was because they retired me on December 19th. So it was like...
Merry Christmas.
Yeah, I was like, hey, separating from the city now. Merry Christmas, So the one thing I do remember, well, I was all a fucking ball of anger and anxiety anyways, but I remember this was going to be the first Christmas that I had to get to where I was no longer a cop. And you guys know, as soon as you walk in, that's your label.
Yeah.
Right? You're not Johnny the carpenter or Timmy the plumber.
Right.
You're the fucking cop, or the detective's gonna take your kid to jail if you don't listen. Veronica's gonna take you to
She
jail.
can find out anything. Yeah.
Write your name in the system, and you're going away.
She can read your mind.
Right. And I had no fucking idea what I was gonna say, like no idea what. Nor did I care. Like I don't remember those next 3 Christmases because I was so out of it that I don't even remember what, if anything, we did, if we decorated. And remember, I told you this is my 3 months for the year, but I knew I was going to have to go to parties and I was going to have to see people that I hadn't seen in 12 months, 11 months. And they always ask the same thing, man. Hispanic family, hey, man, how you doing? How's work?
How's work?
Hey, were
Damn
you
it.
on that call that just happened?
Did you hear about that? Do you know that guy?
Do you know that guy? Then they always pick like a whole different city. Like, hey, do you know that guy in Glendale?
Yeah,
I'm like, I don't know that motherfucker in
I
Glendale.
know this cop. Yeah, I know this cop in Ahwatukee.
Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah.
Good
Hey,
for
I
you.
met a cop from New York. Do you know him? No, I don't know that motherfucker, man. I ain't never been to New York.
Exactly.
But that's how it was by that time. And I knew I was going to have to answer those questions, man. And so I had to have a sit down with my wife and be like, what the fuck do I say? Like, and so I basically was like, I just went to undercover mode, and like, people don't gauge, if they don't talk to you in 11 months, they don't gauge your life the way you do. So I was just like, I'll just be like, I retired. And when they say, God, really? That's cool. Already? Yeah, I had my 20. Because they didn't keep up with my life, and I'm not on social media. So there's no way for them to know exactly how many years I had been in or when I started. Because by that time, I had almost 15 years on. In their minds, it could have been 30.
What'd you say? Like 3 Christmases you don't remember?
Yeah, 3. Probably about 3. I probably started numbing or dissolving back, thawing out around the 4th Christmas.
Yeah.
I would say.
So
this is my 3rd since I've left.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Dang, you just quit. You
I
just
know.
now got
I
out
Yeah,
of
she's
know,
a
it.
it
baby.
feels like
Holy shit! You
It's
still
my
got a time
fourth-
card.
it's my
You still
fourth.
got a time card in your folder somewhere. You haven't
Yeah.
turned in.
right. It's my 4th since my incident, but
Wow.
my 3rd since leaving.
Man,
Yeah.
that's raw. That is
Yeah, it's
raw.
wicked right
I
there.
know.
Well, so I just, it was a hurdle I had to get over. I knew I couldn't run from it. And that's the scary part. Like for me, what I would struggle with was what I used to be able to do and what I now can no longer do.
Oh yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like I wasn't scared of parties, right? I'm sure all of us here are the life of the party. We chop it up with whoever we want.
I know you don't think so, but I'm funny
Yeah.
and I'm quite charming.
Yeah.
I think so, Mark.
And we didn't, and that was not me. I probably,
Can we have a pistol party?
yeah.
We got to.
Maybe
Man.
an alcoholic.
We have to have one.
We need to have
But we
pistol-
also need like an Uber contract.
Yeah. We need discounted rates.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I just told him flat out, But now I'm retired. Already? Yeah, I had my 20. I was done.
Huh.
Oh, that's it. And then I got the whole, now mind you, this December 19th was when I retired. December 25th is Christmas.
Yeah.
And they're congratulating me. And I'm not okay with it.
Right.
No,
Right?
Of course not.
I'm not okay with the fact that I had to retire because of PTSD. I got shame, stigma, embarrassment.
Yeah.
And, I'm thinking, how am I going to survive with no fucking job?
Right.
Right? I haven't got my first retirement check yet.
Mm.
Like all that shit is coming in. People are calling in their markers. It's time to pay up.
Mm-hmm.
And it was bad. I drank heavily.
Mm.
Luckily for me, it's the holidays, so nobody questioned me.
Yeah.
Right? It's normal.
It goes with the holiday.
Yeah. And I know people probably thought, what's wrong with him? But I just wasn't there.
Yeah.
So that is the anger and the anxiety. The anxiety was just having to talk to people, right? And just prior to that, Thanksgiving, I had come back from crazy school. The week before Thanksgiving, I was in crazy school.
Oh wow.
And so now I'm
PD
coming.
sponsored.
Yeah, they sent me away to. Yeah,
Nice.
they sponsored me to go away to crazy school.
That's better
And-
than I got, bro.
Yeah.
That's better than I
Well,
got.
but again, here's my dilemma.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Here I am. Hey, mijo, how's work? Oh, I was in San Francisco. Really?
See,
Why?
you were at least honest. Like I wasn't. People asked.
I
and
didn't tell them I was in crazy school.
I played off like life was great.
Oh, I
even
couldn't do it.
though
There's no way.
I just was like, yeah, good, and then I would walk away like,
There's no
hey,
way.
hey, Thea, yeah, oh, good, everything's right, and I would leave, like, walk away to the other.
You didn't have
room.
no metichi tias. They're like, hey,
Oh, I
what's going
totally
on?
do, but you just have to walk
Oh,
away
they didn't
from
follow you?
them. No, they.
Any
they,
cute officers behind you? Man?
No, I just had to walk away because my safest place when my incident started was my mom's house. Like that was the only place I would go and not feel sick and terrible. Like the anxiety would go down. Like I just felt better being there.
Wow.
Until all the crazy aunts and uncles show up. Then I was like, all right, it's time for me to leave. But that was always my safe place. So the holidays we spend with my parents. My mom does Thanksgiving every year. So that was great for me because when I work day shift or whatever, I would get to leave. You get off at 2. We could leave an hour early, whatever, because the other teams were on. So I'd be done by 2. I'd get to go home, get my kids, and then go to my mom's house. And dinner was ready and made. And so
that's a soft landing.
yeah,
Fuck yeah, it is.
And then same thing with Christmas. We do Christmas at Christmas morning at my house, but then by noon we were at my mom's house for the day. So all of my holidays are always at home with my parents. And even though everybody knows I didn't tell my parents forever what was wrong with me or why I was leaving the PD or how I was leaving or anything, regardless, like that was still my safe place to go and be, even though I never shared with anybody what was wrong with me or what was happening. It just was.
Is that where you went your first Christmas after your?
Yeah, I mean that's where I've been every Christmas.
So you went there just at like a normal.
Yeah, just sat
normal day.
and I could sit and not talk to anybody if I didn't want to, and so like I noticed it a lot more as I'm getting older, but like. Because my sister and my sister-in-laws are older than me, so much older, and I was the baby. Like when I go to my mom's, I'm not expected to do anything but be a guest. Like literally, my mom cooks and cleans right away. My sister-in-laws or my sister put everything away, and I'm just like the baby of the family. So I don't have to do anything. So I go and my mom says, "Oh, food's done." I go and get my food, and then I eat, and then I can kick back on the recliner if that's what I want to do, or outside on whatever, and I don't do anything else. I mean, I don't even serve my own children. They serve themselves, or my mom will serve them. Like I've always been super baby like that. So it's just very comforting for me to go there. Yeah, totally. And so and I did notice though, like when my husband told my parents what was going on with me and that I was leaving the PD for it, like it took on a whole different level, because before that, even though I had that with them, I was still not the most responsible, but I was the one in charge of everything, probably because of my position and what I did for work and whatever. I still took care of my parents. I took care of everything. If there was a problem, everybody came to me. And at that moment that everyone, or my mom and dad, found out what was going on, like my mom totally turned everything about how she treated me. Like all of a sudden, I was a daddy's girl forever, and all of a sudden my mom like changed everything, and I was her baby, and she had to take care of me again. And so I think even now she knows when I'm working a ton, or when I'm like I have a lot going on, and she's just like there to make like I said, we don't talk feelings, we don't do any of that, but their actions are very loud, I guess.
So even now, Mark, so I'm 7 years out of my incident. Jeez. You're what, 14? 15.
Wow.
So when you go to the malls, do you get triggered?
Well, I was at Michael's last night.
What were you doing at Michael's?
Black Friday.
What kind of things?
I was making this stupid thing that said Happy Holidays from Pistol, which you folks are going to see next week right behind me. This big pegboard
I'll bring the
billboard
Christmas tree
that I made.
All right.
Yeah. You know what, though? My first one was, I could just say ditto to your deal, because I got my termination letter in December, right before Christmas. And I was just like, I can't believe you mother effers would do this to me.
Right.
And especially this time of year and everything. I mean, the betrayal and all that stuff. And I was so over medicated at that point. I mean, all I know is the heartbreak of that letter. That's what just permeated my whole holiday season.
That's why I didn't remember
That's the only thing I remember about
That's why I was medicated.
Yeah, and for the next couple, I was trying to get in and out of this dope, in and out of this dope. When I say dope, I mean prescription medications.
Narcota.
Nothing illegal, just what the doctors were poisoning me with. But anyway, so yeah, I went through a number of Christmases and holiday seasons where I don't recall really anything about it. Nothing.
Were you married when you left the PD?
No, I just got divorced. Or no, wait. When I got sent home, I just got divorced. And by the time that termination letter rolled around, I was single.
Okay.
So yeah, I was seeing who would be my wife at the time. Her and I were boyfriend and girlfriend at that time, but we were just that. I was single, but yeah. So I went through a number of Christmases where I don't remember any of it.
So going back, you were at Michael's.
So last night, I said, "Oh yeah, tomorrow is the podcast." And so this is Saturday after Black Friday, for those of you who are watching now, because this is a week or so late. And I said, well, the crowds must have died down. I know they'll still be heavy.
No.
I know they'll be heavy, but I'm going to go late in the evening. And so I said, all I got to get is some sticky letters to put on this piece of pegboard that I'm going to get from Home Depot. I know Home Depot like the back of my hand. So I'll go to Home Depot and be in and out of that place and nothing flat. But first, I want to hit, while I still got my energies up and all my strength up, and down some candy going in there. And I said, I'll be able to make it through Michael's. I'm sure it'll be busy a little bit. I went in there, and that stupid line, man, what?
Yeah.
There's not that much crafty nobody in the world.
It's because they have all their like Christmas stuff that's like 50% off. So people are buying decorations.
It was just insane. So I walked in there and I was like, oh my gosh, I just got to get to the corner of the store. Got over on the wall and started looking up the aisles until I found letters, got my stuff. But I was still in there for an hour and a half to get a little packet of sticky glittery letters. So I could write Merry Christmas with it. And
you should have called. I probably have some.
Yeah. So anyway, I got out of there, and as I'm standing there in line, I'm getting all hot and everything. And I said, you know what? Start doing something. If you don't start doing something, you're going to spin out.
Yep.
You're going to spin out. So just, and I consider myself, getting better or I've done it so long. I have a lot of normals.
Right.
And so I said, just start doing something right now, or you're going to lose this. And so I just said, all right, look at this line. So each person is taking so long. You're going to be out of this line in probably 45 minutes. So gear yourself for an hour in this line. So check my clock, and I was like, okay.
I don't know if I could do that. I avoid stores now.
I know, I wanted to.
Says the person who's not messed up.
But, yeah. But I was just like, I got to have.
what not to do.
So I had a deadline. I had to have this billboard made for today's podcast. I was like, and as you folks can see, there's no billboard behind me. It would have been.
It will be.
But Manny Claus told me not to bring it. Anyway.
Not yet.
So I got there, and I went through the line, and I was just like, at the end of it, I'm looking in the line. I was like, I need some of this candy. I need some of this soda. I need something to like restore some quick energy to me.
Yeah.
And I took it, and I did it.
Right on.
And so I got through the thing.
Does chocolate do that for you? Is that what it is? For me too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I need that extra sugar surge, that energy level, and it has some sort of calming effect to me. So I use it, and it's probably comfort food for when I was a kid and all that. So I use it. And I don't care. I'll do what I got to do.
Whatever you have to do to get
what I got to
through.
do was what I got to do to get through that line. I said, you got 60 minutes. What can you do to help you cope? Here's some Snickers bars. Here's a Pepsi. Eat it in line. Just bring the wrappers up there.
Right.
Yeah.
And I did. And
Like
I was
that
there
big
we
shock.
go. So anyway,
Yes.
went through that. And then I went over to Home Depot, picked up my stuff over there. Even that place was crowded.
Did you expect
Really?
nothing to be crowded?
Well, I expected it to have died down because it was Saturday, and two, it was late in the evening. I was like, shouldn't these folks be home eating by now? I mean, the big sales are over probably by now. But anyway, so it wasn't. So it was more than I expected. And then when I got home, so my girlfriend comes over. She says, let me come over and help you put that thing together. And I was like, no, this would be a piece of cake. I'll get this thing together in 5 minutes. By the time I was done, I was throwing things around. This stupid mother. Yeah. And
There's that anger and rage.
Yeah. And I was like, you know what? It's because I topped out and I had spent all my stuff in the stores dealing with those crowds.
Yeah.
And then I tried to get me some fast food, and the stupid fast food line. I'm like, why isn't he pulling his car up? And I noticed, I was like, boy, you're getting way amped up on these folks. Cranking the music up, chewing some gum, doing whatever I can to try to mitigate it, bring it down. And it was so high at that point. I was like, you're on a losing end of this right now. I said, but you're using these little things. If I hadn't used those little things, I mean, who knows what I'd done?
So
I would have
that
rammed the guy
reminds
in front of me.
The other day I went grocery shopping and I took my kid with me, and we'd gone to Costco first, and he never goes to the store. So when he does, he's like infatuated, like, oh my God, I want this and that. Like he was just crazy.
You gotta get your kid out more.
I know. I don't take him to, he's a boy. He doesn't, like my girls love to go, but he doesn't. And so now that he's starting to discover it, he's like, wow, there's stuff I might like. So anyways, went through Costco, took forever. Like I had a plan, what I was going to get in and out. That didn't happen because he wanted to look around. So we looked around, and then I still had to go to Fry's after. So by the time I was done with Fry's, my kid was like, Mom, it's okay. It's fine, Mom. It's fine. Just calm down.
Did your eye get red?
I don't even know.
Oh,
but like,
I was just
like,
the stank eye.
I was like super annoyed with everything and everyone, and I was probably being mean to him, like not even realizing that I was being mean to him. But I was just like done. I was so over being out and doing it, and my kid literally was like, Mom, it's okay. You're fine. It's and like I don't even know that he knows what's happening, but he knows when I'm not okay.
He can sense it.
That's what she was doing for me. She's like, listen, I'll help you with this. Wouldn't it be easier to do it like this? And I'm just like, what did you say? You're trying to tell me I'm doing it wrong.
Like my kid always says, Mom, like, I love you. You're the best. Sometimes you get mean, and I don't.
You get mean.
But
sometimes I see the mean mom.
And I know it's just like it's moments like that, but I couldn't stop. I was just like, stop telling me. Just stop telling me that I'm not okay. Like I'm not. I know I'm just done. Like let's just go. Like do what you need to get done because we just have to be done.
So there's that little fucking inmate that me and Mark dealt with. He's telling you it's pissing you off.
Well, so let me ask this too, is like we always used to get, everybody gets mad. I mean, just general public watching this. Yeah,
they fight on Black Friday, bro.
I get that
like
stuff.
shit.
Yeah, I get that stuff. So, what's the difference between you now and prior to your PTSD?
I could have stayed in a store all day regardless.
I love shopping, man.
Yeah.
I was like a chick.
All day. Yeah.
I was like a chick.
The lines didn't bother me like I expected.
There was an ambiance about it.
Yeah, I love the excitement. I would be singing Silver Bells.
Yeah.
Silver Bells.
Yes.
City Street.
Yeah, this guy's a fucking...
I mean, I used to do the Black Friday thing. I would take the kids, like the girls, because they love to go shop, like all the time. And I haven't done Black Friday probably since I've been, since
I did it one time since my
I don't know
shooting.
that I have since then. And I just am like, nah, the sales will be there later. Like, I don't need to go now. And I put it off until the
$65 off on a TV is not worth it to me.
No,
not worth your mental health or your freedom.
I'll pay $110 extra.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, and part of the reason that it generated so much thought in my head about the topic was what is that? Bed Bath and Beyond. They have those candles, right? Is that what it is?
Uh-huh.
And the 3-wick candles, I'm partial to, right? Because the holidays, you want all that 'tis the season smell,
the pine smell,
winter smell, but they're expensive, bro. Right? Like you buy 3 candles, man, you're putting out $60.
Well,
you know what I mean?
Got to go on the sale day, bro.
Well, guess what? I did go on a sale day, which was yesterday.
Yeah.
Okay.
You can get them for $10.
Well, no, I got them because my wife's one of those shoppers that finds all the coupons everywhere in the goddamn world.
Yes.
So it was they were normally $24 and then they're down to $12, right? $12.95. But then she got a coupon that made them $9.
Oh yeah.
Right. So now I'm like carrying it back, and I got to tell you before we wrap up, and you alluded to it right now, but so all of that time, now I'm now back into the happiness of the holidays again.
Nice.
Right. So yesterday, because I got cute, and I go to the mall, I go in there, and I'm like, I get a headache because I smell all the candles. You know which ones you like. Like, oh, I like that one. And, so I got this 6 candles, and we go up to the register, and my wife hands the coupon, and they said, you need to print the coupon, pull it out so we can get the barcode. She's like, that's how it came. They're like, no, just have them resend it to your email. So we had to get out of line because we were going to hold up the line, right? So I get out of line, and we go, and she's trying to fidget with it, and then she goes to the manager, and she's like, no, don't worry about it. You don't need it. So we look over our shoulder to get back in line, and it was at that moment that 3,000 fucking people decided to check out, right? And normally, Mark, with my service dog, she was trained to block people around me to keep me a wide enough space to not go into a panic attack. But she doesn't go out as much anymore. So I'm there, and these people are up on my like they're over me, right? And I'm like, hey, like this is not okay right now.
No.
And man, I almost went into a panic attack. And my wife's like, you can go sit out there. And I'm like, no, I think I could do this. You know, I'm a lot better now.
Right.
And man, like 2 customers went through that line, and I said, hey, I'm going out. I'm sitting outside with all the other husbands out there that are pissed off that they're here to begin with. So I go out there, and it dawned on me that I didn't lose my shit. Because normally I would have been like, fucking drop everything. Let's get the fuck out of here.
I would have left it.
Yeah. Then I would have fucking taken it out on my family. I would have been fucking staring down the bottle of an empty Jameson bottle.
Yeah.
It just wouldn't have been a good thing. And that's part of it. Without going too much further into that, I could see that I knew how to cope better.
Yeah.
You know, I knew it was time to step out. My wife stayed in, rang it up. We were able to go to a few other stores, but I knew, all right, I need to take a little time out here. Like, I need to get back situated. Should I have gone? Absolutely. Absolutely. Nobody should sit at home in their own shit like Pigpen.
Right.
Right. And there's a time and a place for that. Mark and Veronica, you know that. In the very beginning, you've got to thaw out.
Yeah, you gotta minimize your exposure to the bad.
Yeah.
If it's gonna hurt you,
whatever's gonna trigger you and make it worse, stay away from
Yeah.
it for a while.
and then come back into it and reacclimate yourself.
Right.
Yep.
Like Manny, how many years away?
7.
7.
Yeah.
I'm 15. So now I can come back into it, and that's probably why I thought I was good to
But
go.
there's like a process to that. Like you have
There
to
is.
have counselors, you have to have doctors, you have to have
Yeah.
things that are
All
going to
those
help you
tools.
and teach
Right.
you
All those
how
tools.
to reacclimate yourself.
But I
to
did.
that.
I mean, I still got screwed up.
Yeah.
You know.
Oh yeah.
But again,
Telling you.
I thought
wasn't even doing regular. I was just regular grocery shopping and stuff. I wasn't trying to do Christmas stuff. I was like, it was Monday, and I was like, we're just getting normal, a few things here and there. That was it. And I literally, my 11-year-old kid was like, Mom, it's okay. It's okay, Mom.
It's
You'll
mommy
be fine.
dearest.
Yeah, he was like, you're fine, Mom.
No
it's okay.
wire hangers.
He was like, I'll help you. I'll help you take whatever you need, get what you need. Like, it's okay, Mom. And I was just like, I'm just done. Like,
Yeah.
I can't be here anymore.
There was
I'm
just too
done.
much noise in my head, but I don't, I'm not, I think that we should be able to overcome the issues we have, like Veronica said, with treatment, with therapy. And you can, I'm here to tell you, you can enjoy the holidays the way we started this conversation, right? Singing, chiming shit in.
Yeah.
Clearly, Mark and I are in the holiday season because of our hats.
I'm so proud of you guys,
Right.
too.
And but it's possible.
Yeah.
When you guys are out there and if you're in the beginning of this, we were there.
Yeah.
Okay. And 7 years later, 14 years later, 3 years later, we're still fucked up by this, but we're doing better.
Oh yeah.
That's the positive.
Yep.
Right? We're not just sitting at home like we did in the beginning, medicated out. I'm off all my meds. Mark's off his. Veronica's off hers.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
We're dope free.
Free.
Just say no.
Dope
Just
free.
No, don't say no.
As
You
free
need them
as
at
the
some point.
Yeah.
goes.
So, but that's the positive, is that today before the fucking podcast, I got up, I hung Christmas lights around my house.
Nice.
I got fucking the trees up. It's
Wow.
December 1, people.
Nice.
I know. I forgot to bring out Elf. Didn't show up. I got to do that today. Like, hope my kid doesn't even realize the dates or anything.
Yeah.
Totally forgot.
Hey,
that.
I'm enjoying all of these
Days not
days.
over. Days
Yeah.
not over.
All of these days. Enjoy them,
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
Because they're not there forever.
Yeah.
And we're fortunate enough to still be around here.
Yeah.
Right? Some of us, I think, knowing Mark's critical incident, could say, yeah, you have a blessing that you're here.
Yeah.
We all went through those times where we've had guns pulled on us, knives pulled on us, but we're here, right? We didn't give up. We don't give up. We adapt. We overcome, and then things get better, right? Because we're a testament to that.
Yes.
That's why we laugh at this shit. That's why we wear these hats. That's why we support Veronica when she's behind Cliff, whatever the fuck is his name is.
Cliff Kingsbury.
Um,
Come on now.
You should send him something. for Christmas
it's like been
because
like 10 weeks now. Come on.
you know what you should send him for Christmas? A card with a W in it because he has no idea what that fucking is.
Coaching for dummies.
Yeah, coaching for dummies.
Oh.
That's awesome.
You guys are
All right, so we'll end it on a positive note. We'll be here next week, and you never know, we might have an ugly sweater contest.
Yes.
And we'll let you guys
It's gonna
vote.
happen.
We'll let you guys vote as to who has the ugliest sweater.
And I will be wearing nothing under my sweater.
Oh,
Just to let you
Way.
know.
Actually, you're wearing nothing. You just have the sweater.
winner, chicken dinner on Mark. Yeah, I don't. You win on that one, brother.
I don't believe it because we still never got the bikini shots.
Is that? Is Rudolph's nose red, Mark? Is that what that is?
Boop, boop. Yeah.
All right, guys. I appreciate you guys coming out. See you on the next one, as always, to us and those like us. And make sure you come hang out with us.
Merry Christmas, everybody. Happy holidays.